Hey! Hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron. Welcome back to the Gamertron Show. I am once again joined by my very good friend, Grindhead Jim.
What's up, folks?
So Jim, you play a lot of multiplayer games?
A little bit.
Yeah, I do too. I used to be a real single-player guy, but I've been playing a lot of multiplayer as the years go on. And one thing I've noticed, not just through my own personal experiences, but online in general, on the internet, forums, discussion, comments, that sort of thing, I noticed a certain behavior which is kind of accepted in multiplayer, and in my personal opinion, I'm not so sure that should be allowed. We're here to talk to you guys about multiplayer etiquette and how not to be an asshole in a multiplayer game. So Jim, you play a lot of Destiny. Tell me, what would you call as undesirable attitude when working in PvP or PvE?
Well, they're the same and different. Like in PvE, so we're talking about like a raid situation or a strike. Jesus Christ. I could have a whole video, and I will, folks, don't worry, on just Destiny's version of this, but I wanted to kind of get the overview done before I did mine. But I will tell you that the big ones in PvE are whining and crying about a strategy. When you're trying to do the same thing, you know the strategy is going to work. It's just a matter of everyone doing their part. If you're just being lazy, or you have that constant flow of, well, I think we should try it this way. No. Like, for example, like the raids and strikes in Destiny, I've done all of them dozens upon dozens of times. I know what works. I know what's required of a team. You know, we have these ideas. The idea that someone else is going to come in, a rando, like if you go to like an LFG site or something, and you find somebody, and they're going to come in like, well, I want to do it this way. Well, then form your own fucking fire team, bitch. Like, just get out of my shit. That's the worst in PvE. In PvP, I would say that it depends upon whether we're talking about teams versus not teams. But the worst thing, the one that I rage over the most, is the teabagging phenomenon, and not the act of teabagging. I know that's going to happen. I know that's a thing. But if you're going to teabag somebody, you better have fucking earned it. You better have done something that really showcased your skill, or really caught the other person by surprise. Doing something that's lazy or a poor kill or something like, and then just teabagging just because you happen to get the kill. It's a matter of disrespect. Like, I think unsportsmanlike conduct is the worst thing for me. That really just makes you want to flip desks everywhere. It's awful. So it just drives me up a wall. So I would say unsportsmanlike conduct in general, because both of those things fall under that. And that goes for any game I've played. Like, just not understanding we're all here to have fun, not understanding that we're all trying to be efficient and have fun at the same time, and just disrespecting that really comes down to it.
I know, exactly. I play quite a few multiplayer games from time to time. I've played some Titanfall, Warframe, Evolve. I even played crap. There was a crisis-free multiplayer, and I know.
I was gonna say you played crap.
Oh,
We've all played crap.
Oh yeah, we've all played crap.
Game of the Year edition, extra turd.
Oh yeah. But one thing I've a certain type of behavior I've noticed is the sore loser. That's the kind of person I can understand. Oh, so you lost a game in a virtual simulation. Like, this totally affected your life. Like, this made your penis smaller. Or you lost money on this, or something. Like, people who freak the hell out because you lost a stupid multiplayer match in a video game. They start throwing F-bombs, and two types of F-bombs, if you know what I mean. They start degrading other people, saying the other team cheated. It's like, it's a video game, dude. Calm the hell down. I don't get that behavior. I can understand getting frustrated, like you're having a really good competitive match. It's score on score. Anyone could win, and then someone gets that lucky kill, and you're like, ah, damn it, so close to winning. I can understand being a little irritated and stuff like that, but insulting the other team, like, come on.
Like, yeah, and you know, it's one of those things, right? I mean, and in the heat of the moment, you're gonna, have these you're gonna throw insults. It does happen, like, you motherfucker, like, whatever. Like, I totally understand that. I do it. Everybody does that. But to then after you've lost to just not be able to stop and say, "Wow, that was okay, whatever," and then learn from it, and move on. There's a problem. Like yesterday, I'll use yesterday as an example, and there's video evidence of this, by the way, so I'm not making this up. There was a player on the other team that was camping, and I was getting increasingly mad at myself for just falling for it every time, because you do get into patterns when you're in these multiplayer maps and you get familiar. And sometimes it takes a few tries for me to realize, oh shit, I'm falling into that trap, I gotta move. And then, then she moved and did another thing. And it wasn't that her kills required a particular amount of skill. It was just a matter of patience and placement. That's not skill. That's being an opportunist to the point of folly. And the only reason her score was as high as it was that because she was taking the easy kills. And I was throwing out some words that I don't often say in polite conversation because I was frustrated this individual was taking the easy way out and was getting rewarded for it with their points. I shouldn't neglect to mention that the very next match, it was an open air map. There was no place for this individual to camp, and I cleaned her fucking clock. And I felt better about it. And for me, that was the end of it. But you come across an individual player that's doing stuff like that, that's one thing. But when you lose, and you lose somewhat legitimately, or you just weren't having a great game, and then you just accuse an entire team of something stupid, that's nonsense.
Like, how could an entire team be cheating? How could every single one of those 5, 6, 10 players, depending on what game you're playing, how could every single one of them be cheating? I mean, really?
Like switches. But, we're not going to talk about lag switches.
No.
Those are a thing, though. They're still... I can't believe it. In 2015, fucking lag switches are a thing. That's something else. What possible fun is it to cheat? I don't understand. I understand the fun of winning. But the amount of effort you got to put into this shit, it drives me up a wall.
Well, I understand the fun of winning, too. But it's a friggin' video game. You don't get anything from winning. Oh, you get virtual items. Oh, you get virtual experience and level up. Yada, yada, yada. Was that worth playing a video game in what's basically an illegal way? Since you can get blocked, banned, your copy of the game, not muted. What would you call it? Blacklisted or something like that?
Yeah, you get IP banned.
Yeah. Why risk it? Why run the risk? Over a video game, what are you gaining? Virtual items, virtual XP? It's not worth the risk.
And
it also really it misses the point of what games are. Games aren't about just getting to the max level, having a good KD. That's not what games are about. That's there to give you incentive to play as best as you can, maybe improve your skill in a game. But the main factor, and I think you can attest to this, Jim, is to have fun. To have fun in the game.
Yeah.
That's why video games came into existence, to play for fun.
Yeah, and there are people in all gaming communities, not just multiplayer, that for whatever reason seem to equate ruining other people's fun as a way of enhancing their own.
Trolls.
And that's kind of what this comes down to, really, is don't be a troll. Now, granted, there's another elephant in the room that I've mentioned in other videos that I will mention here because they're an issue. When we're talking about shooters and competitive games where the rating is T or M, teen or mature, depending upon where you are in the world, squeakers, they're an issue. And it isn't just because of the whole debate about appropriateness for their age group. Like, I'm not here to police your parenting, but have some consideration for me and my buddies. I don't want to hear your 12-year-old and then they start singing in the mic and all this nonsense that they tend to do. And I hate it. I absolutely hate it because this is why I almost always have mic muted. When I go into almost any game, I listen to music really loud, and that's how I play it. Even when I'm just playing by myself. Because I don't want to hear someone else's music. I don't want to hear your little kid. Like, I want to know. I want to know who the first person was that ever did that. I was under the age of, we'll say, 14, that sang into the mic. Someone else heard that going and saying, I'm going to do that next time I'm in the game, because that seems like a really cool thing to do. And then at some point in the last 10 years, that became a thing. And I don't know why there isn't, with all the stupid trends on Twitter, all the stupid hashtags on Twitter and Facebook and everything else, why we can't get a hashtag stop the madness,
Stop the squeakers.
The squeaker singing must end, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Someone come up with a hashtag, and the best one will get a no prize from me. And kudos if you know what a no prize is. It's just these little things that just wear on one's sanity. Because when you go into a game, it is usually there for a stress release and to have fun. Mm-hmm. And when someone else is doing something that infringes on their ability to have that fun, it's inconsiderate. Whether we're talking about a shooter, which is the most prevalent version of this, yeah, the exact same things happen in sporting games because it's the exact same
MOBAs.
setup.
Don't forget them MOBAs.
MOBAs are even arguably worse. Fighting games are even more odd because when people rage on there, it's one-on-one. There's no way to say, "Oh, he didn't mean me." Yes, he did. I remember it was the first day I ever had a PlayStation 3. First day. Mm-hmm. This is right after the PS4 had been announced, like the release date, the price, the whole bit. And Microsoft had their thing, and I decided I was going back to Sony, screw Microsoft. And I traded in my Xbox 360, and even Steven got a PS3.
Oh,
Couldn't be happier with that. It was a good time to trade in, I'll tell you. Came on with the PS3 and found out that day it just happened to be just karma, or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, boy.
That Tekken had a free-to-play version that had just come out. Online free-to-play. And I'm a huge Tekken fan. I said, I got to have this. And I played it, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm a pretty good Tekken player. And I beat the living snot out of this dude. And he messaged me some stuff.
Oh, boy.
Every word you could think of that could ever be used against another individual to try and belittle them.
Let me guess, he called you a spammer, a camper, all this other stuff?
No, that would have been nice.
Oh, no.
By comparison. Nah, it was every word in the book. Very, very inflammatory.
And that was just because you,
frankly,
that was just because you beat him in a fighting game.
Right. And then the very next match, someone trounced me. Hardcore. Granted, the first week of that game was glorious because everyone was on an even playing field.
Ah, yes.
And
that's actually something else we can talk about, but maybe later on in the video. We're talking about etiquette, but maybe near the end of the video we can talk about that. Okay, sorry to interrupt you.
Well, like matchmaking, we've had multiple discussions where this point gets brought up.
Yeah.
But it comes down to this. We're all here to have fun. We're all here to enjoy the game.
Mm-hmm. But
do whatever you need to do to have fun.
Admittedly, it's kind of hard to enjoy the game when you join a server full of, like, if you're a new player and you join a server full of people who are, like, level 50 max level, or if you're a level 50 max level and you join a thing full of noobs, like, it's just not fair from the perspective of, oh man, this guy has the better equipment, he has far more experience with the game, he's obviously going to get top on the leaderboard. Like,
and that's why, again, using Destiny as the example, I like the way they've done it. They're vanilla PvP. Everything's balanced. So your armor levels and your weapon levels don't count for nothing. You can take a weapon you got from the very first level of the game and be effective.
Ah.
You can be a level 3 going up against level 34s and be effective. There are advantages in terms of skill sets and perks that you get with the other armors and weapons. But ultimately, it's just a matter of skill. It really is, which is beautiful. And then there are also versions of the game, like Iron Banner, which is this week, where that isn't the case. Everything matters. Armor level, light level, weapons, the whole bit. And that's a limited time thing. There's Trials of Osiris. You have these opportunities to have both sides. They've sequestered things in such a way that it's not as huge of a disconnect as you will have in a Battlefront or Halo or many other games where that was a huge problem.
That sounds very similar to a few other multiplayer games that you wouldn't mind bringing up. Now, Destiny sounds, its matchmaking sounds a bit better than Titanfall. Now, I love Titanfall, and they've done wonders to improve the matchmaking. Before it was pretty bad. Like, you'd have a team of Gen 1s versus a team of Gen 10s, which is embarrassing. Now they've mixed it up where depending on how many generations are on each team, they will mix them up. They will mix up the teams, which is great. They do mix up the team members depending on their skill level, so that okay, there's free noobs on this team, free noobs on that team, free experts, that sort of thing. They've balanced it out, which is nice. But that doesn't mean every once in a while a team will still have a bit of an advantage. Like they'll still have the more experienced players, that sort of thing. Two games that I think. Well, first off, game does this very similar to Destiny. Warframe. Warframe's PvP, it sounds extremely similar to Destiny's, because it doesn't matter how high you've leveled up a weapon or anything like that, everything is balanced and scaled down so that it's more of a fair advantage. Everybody on fair playing ground. Okay? And not just that, your powers in Warframe are limited, so you can't go spamming off all those super cool superpowers and dominating. Energy is scarce, so you can either build up your energy, build up your powers, or use those weak abilities right away. So again, there's a balancing act there. And one other game I think that really does this very well in terms of multiplayer matchmaking is Evolve. You only ever play with players that are around your level. The only time you're not playing with players that are not the same level as you is if the game can't find anyone else, so they bring some random in. But the game does its absolute best to put players who are of the same skill level in teams with one another. You will I almost never ever find like a team of level 40 hunters versus a level 1 monster. Almost never. It's almost always balanced out. Which is something
and that's a wonderful thing. It's rare, you know. I remember the days. I remember Petridge Farm when Halo 2 was the thing, and even Halo 3 to a lesser degree, but certainly Halo 2 and 3. And I don't know if Reach suffered from this or not. And you might be able to attest to this. There was a deal where your skill level was not static. Like in today's day and age, you earn a level, you keep it, no matter how much you suck.
Yeah.
In Halo, that wasn't the case. If you lost a match, your level went down. And there was a thing where in Halo 2 and 3, people would purposely go into a match and force themselves to die to lower their level so that they could in turn go up against lower ranked players and win more consistently as this weird, horrible means of trolling. And do you remember what I'm talking about?
I've played Halo 2 multiplayer, and I've never necessarily experienced that, but I have a feeling I know what you're talking about, because the times when I do play Halo 2 multiplayer, granted, I play Halo 2 multiplayer rarely, and I play it on PC, so not the most popular multiplayer version, unless you're into modding.
Right.
I kind of get what you're talking about, because I have noticed that there are times where players with higher skill levels would just like get horrible KD ratios. I'm like, am I just playing well, or are they losing on purpose, sort of thing? So I kind of get what you're talking about.
So what happens is you'll have someone, like, just to use it as the example, someone goes from level 1 to level 2, and they're right at the threshold, and they're like, well, in other words, they know what they're doing, but they just, the next match they lose on purpose to go back to level 1, so they get match made with level 1s. And then they go in and just trounce the fuck out of them. You see that shit all the time.
Yeah, and again, to kind of bring this back on topic, because we went on matchmaking for a while, it's just poor multiplayer etiquette. I mean, there's just I've talked about this before. If you've seen my video, "The Internet is not an excuse to be a jerk" video, it's the same thing with that. Just because you are anonymous, people can't see your face. Just because people don't know where you live, or they don't know your real name, that sort of thing, that doesn't mean you as a person are not in there in this communicative virtual competition. It doesn't mean you're not, even if you're playing with strangers, they're still people. You're still playing with other people.
You're not excused from manners.
Exactly. Basic common decency, basic respect. Doesn't matter if they're strangers or not. You show those strangers basic common decency and respect. You don't know them. You don't know what you're going through. They're going through, and I know this is kind of a bit off topic, but you never know what's going to set someone off. You never know.
Oh, yeah.
Someone could just be playing a multiplayer game for fun, like, oh man, I've had a really bad day. I am not in the mood for bullshit. I'm just going to boot up a few matches of, say, Destiny, Titanfall, whatever, and just shoot the shit with some random folks online. And then you come across this one dude who says something nasty or acts like a jerk for no reason. Because let's be honest, there's no reason to act like a dick to others. If you're angry and you want to swear, you don't need to turn on your mic. You don't need to go open voice chat and swear at the other team and your team or whatever. whatever. If you're going like, motherfucker, god damn it, that was a good shot, you can say that to yourself. You don't need to turn on your mic, push to talk or whatever, and announce that to everybody in the game. It's just like, it's not necessary. And so many people confuse what a multiplayer game should be or how people should act nowadays. Like, people are starting to accept, that's how multiplayer works, you're going to encounter assholes. We shouldn't have to. We shouldn't have to say, if you go into multiplayer, you got to be aware of assholes. Why should we have to be aware of assholes? Why should anyone have to act like an asshole? It's a goddamn video game. Ugh.
And it's at the end of the day, we as a community define the experience, and there's no such thing as, well, we just deal with it. No, you don't just deal with it. You figure out a way to make it work. You figure out a way that people can get along with one another, and it starts one person at a time. For example, getting angry in the middle of a multiplayer game is never going to go away. It's never going to go away.
Of course not.
Because
it's never going to go away.
So,
but bringing room to other players, that doesn't need to stay.
Exactly. Like, I would not say half the shit that I say about other players if they could hear me. I'll be the first one to, because you've been in my stream, dude. You know I'm like, this motherfucker.
Yeah, but I know you. I know you're not making a personal attack or anything. You're just pissed that they're getting good kills, or
because as soon as the match, because as soon as the match is over, I'm over it. It's done. Unless the next match is with them, and then whatever.
Yeah, but there are these other players that make it personal. There's no need to make it personal.
Right. And they're going. Yeah. Now, if I were sending messages to them, going, "You motherfucker, let's go," or swatting or any of this nonsense.
Oh, swatting! That is.
Streamers run into that shit all the time.
Oh my god, that is my number one fear with streaming. I started streaming, and I'd be lying if I wasn't worried. It's such a shame that people can't have fun without worrying about some asshole who's going to threaten your life over nonsense.
Yep.
Oh man.
Anyway, it's that's the ultimate betrayal of the etiquette, where it's at no point should the virtual activities cross over into the real world and vice versa. It shouldn't happen.
Never.
Ever. So it all comes down, whether we're talking about PvP, PvE, or anything else, when you're online and you're interacting with other people, it really is that golden rule: treat others how you'd want to be treated. And if you really need to yell into a mic and be upset, then just mute your mic and just yell. Stream if you want to. It's a great release, but don't be hurtful to other people if you can help it, And if you can't help it, maybe you need to get help. I don't know, or try a different game. Try a beer. Try to get laid. I don't know, something.
Maybe
something
try
needs
single
to change
player.
in your life.
Yeah, maybe try single player. Less playing with people online.
There's a little bit of a euphemism there. Try single player. You see what he's saying? A little more single player after hours. But if you like bots, that's completely between you and the bots.
We're not judging.
I'm just,
Okay, we're totally judging.
Not really. It's just funny. But really, if you like robots, it's okay.
Yeah. We all like robots. You like robots, don't you, Jim?
Not in the bedroom.
Oh, of course. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Anyways, this has been going on for almost 25 minutes. I hope you get what you guys. I hope you guys get what we're trying to say here. It's just a multiplayer game. It's just a video game. Doesn't matter if you're playing with people, friends, or strangers. It doesn't matter if you're anonymous. It doesn't matter if you're well known. Whatever. There's a certain way you act. Not just for the sake of just being polite, but just respecting yourself as a human being. Because if you're disrespecting others, then you're not showing your self-respect. Because that shows how little respect you have for yourself and how other people look at you. Because if you're being an asshole and you know you're being an asshole, I question what you're doing with your life. Ugh.
Mic dropped. Holy shit, Ryan. You're like, fuck you. No, that was about as harsh as I've ever heard you talking to anybody ever. In a good way. That was aggressive but respectful. Aggress respect. I don't know how you can say that. I don't know. But in the interest of respecting your aggro, We should probably let these people get on with their days. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to see more of me, you can go over to grindheadgym.com where you can find my Twitch or my YouTube or my Twitter or pictures of me, which why would you want that? But thank you so much for all the support your community is giving. I've seen you guys on the multiplayer streams. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being there. And thank you, Gamertron, for always having me and having my back.
Hell yeah.
I'll always have yours.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Okay, guys. Leave your likes, leave your comments, leave us your multiplayer horror stories in the comments below, and let us know of any goodwill you've seen in multiplayer games, like someone saying GG or that was a great match, stuff like that. Love to hear your horror stories and your positive stories in the comment section. Alright guys, this has been a video. Later everyone.